Caitlin Clark makes her return at home against the Valkyries in a matinee. There were early games all across the W yesterday. I guess it's an annual thing. And Nakase starts Kate Martin. And I'm not going to lie, initially I was like, this seems kind of like, Caitlin Clark and in Indiana, like that's what we're doing here. But the Fever had changed their starting lineup with Ari McDonald, 3-guard lineup. And it actually, regardless of why the decision was made, it worked out for the Valkyries. And I think that they may have stumbled into Kate's true position as a stretch 4, if she can hang against some of these bigger forwards in the league. But let's talk about Veronica Burton, the star of the game, the VB game, 5 threes. All you got to do is listen to Unc. That's all you got to do. No. Clearly they look at the tape, they do their due diligence, and they're like, hey, Burton, Veronica, you got to take some of these shots. You got to shoot more. You got to be more aggressive if you're going to be on the floor. And she let it go. What you can see with her shot is she likes, a lot of women do, a lot of the girls do, that hop, that foot replace into the shot to kind of get a bounce and a little more force and energy, especially from 3-point range. But in order to do that, you've got to be ready to shoot before you catch the ball. It's got to be predetermined. You can't catch it and then take the hop. You can get away with it sometimes, right? But as opposed to like just tapping your toe or taking the 1-2 step where you can take that and not necessarily take the shot. And so she likes that foot replace and she's letting it go. It started in Atlanta, where she had 3 or 4 threes, and she carried it into this matchup. And that's really the story of the game offensively, playing 5 out, spreading that Fever defense apart, and Veronica Burton finding her confidence, because that's what's intriguing and why it feels sustainable for VB is, look, no one's expecting her to make 5 threes, 4 threes a night, right? The threat of it will open up the offense. Coming off the screen, catching the ball, and just showing it, just hopping on the catch and then leaving, right? The threat of it opens up the offense so much. And again, why I feel like it's sustainable is the shot is pretty. There's nothing mechanically wrong with it. I saw her down here in Phoenix warming up, and I'm a good angle of it, like down at the court. And I'm like, oh, that shot looks good. Great rotation. Like it's compact. It gets good arc, It's a mental thing. And there are so many shooters in basketball where that's the situation. Hey, are you going to shoot the 3? Are you going to make the 3? And it's mechanical. You look at the shot and you're like, I don't know if that's like going to be a high percentage shot, no matter how confident you are. It's not a good mechanical shot. That's not the case with VB. And you saw her confidence grow as the game went on, getting downhill and putting that pressure on this Fever defense where, let's be clear, Aaliyah Boston, I'm sorry. I said it the last time we played the Fever. She is one of the more overrated players in the league to me. Don't throw the stats at me. And it really, to me, is almost a great example of what is wrong with the W in a lot of ways. And you talk about the opportunities that are given to these girls. And Aaliyah Boston comes out of South Carolina, the #1 pick, the franchise player. And she's just been anointed a superstar center, a superstar big in the W. If you watch her, is that really what it is? That's not what I'm seeing. And it's like we're being told, hey, no, she's a star. She's going to be an all-star. She's a star. She's going to get that opportunity no matter what. That's not what I'm seeing with my own eyes. Give me Kayla Thornton every day of the week. And you look at the rest of the all-star roster, all these other kind of forward big combos, give me them every day of the week. Why? Because they can hold their own defensively in space. And that was the game plan. Pull Aaliyah Boston up above the 3-point line, and she just can't do anything. And I just don't see her, like, she's a fine player, but the hype and, all the stuff around her being like this superstar player to go with Cece, I don't see it, man. I don't see it at all. And we abused her. And it opened up the floor. But I just, they started to send traps at the Valkyrie, in part probably because of the way Burton was shooting, but because you had Kate at the 4, right? And she just can't do that. You can't send her up. She has to play drop coverage. And then offensively, I know she's gotten more physical and efficient on the block. I don't know. But call me a hater. What else do we want to talk about here in this matchup? As you know, I guess the Fever, they came out and pushed pace, and they were successful early on because they didn't want to play against this Valkyrie half-court defense. But the Valkyrie, one of their huge advantages night in and night out is not only do they have this 10-girl rotation and in depth, the Valkyrie are in better shape than almost all these teams. Like Kayla Thornton is physically dominating people night in and night out. Like she's like, I can play harder for longer. I'm stronger. I'm faster. Like my motor's high. She's just physically dominating. Temi's back running the floor. Like we're one of the more in shape teams in the league. So when it gets into this fast pace and pressured ball defense, we have an advantage because of our conditioning and our depth. And as we opened the game up and the threes started to drop, which, VB, that's huge, but all the threes were dropping. I like the 5-out offense. I like Kate at the 4. Carla late finally makes her return to the lineup. Her very first possession, she sells out over the top of the screen and takes like a big bump to the floor. And it's like, that's just who she is, right? She's just going to have to hit the weight room, and we know she's tough, but there's a difference between being tough and being durable. You can be tough. Are you durable? And so that will be the question with Carla, but her defense was really, really good. Her ability to stay attached and blow up dribble handoffs and fight over the top of screens, draw those offensive fouls. She makes second and third efforts. Super impressed with her defense as a 21-year-old. Do you know what she's shooting from 3, though? I don't think I've ever looked at a three-point percentage, and seen that number. She's shooting 9% from 3. And to her credit, she's still shooting it confidently. Like that's impressive in its own self. I think it's important to let her shoot herself out of this. When I talk, me, I'm a shot doctor, and you talk about the mechanics, I'm not seeing something wrong with it. There's nothing glaringly wrong with it. She doesn't take bad ones. Is she too revved up and excited to be playing and giving such an effort defensively, like her breathing patterns and just like her excitement and energy? I don't have an explanation for it, but that's got to start to climb as intriguing of a player as she is. Salon was in the rotation, and she is soft. That's what I'm seeing. And it's soft offensively. Like you could say there's different ways that you can be soft. There's different areas of the game that can make you soft. She settles for tough pull-up jump shots no matter what. Now, in a certain player, if you're that good at it, you get it, right? Also, if you are physically limited, you're smaller, and it's like, all right, that's all you could get. That's not the case with Salon. She's a big, strong athlete that should be able to get to the rim. Has she shot a free throw this year? I don't know if she shot a free throw, right? And so, look, her defensive effort, I think, has revved up a little bit here in realizing, hey, I might be out of this rotation. Looking around at Leticia and these other players, like I'm going to have to give a better effort defensively. But the settling for mid-range pull-up jump shots, I know we've seen them go in. She has to have a counter to that. She has to learn to get to the rim, get to the line. But it's a work in progress. And shout out to whoever brought this up in the last video, because I was like, Salon probably has the most potential, maybe Carla late. And someone was like, Leticia may have something to say about that. And I don't think I contemplated how young she is as well. And I have to agree. Me here, to me, is the better prospect than Salon right now in how she just overall. You talk about soft. She ain't a soft bone in her lanky body, right? Her motor, her willingness to get all the way to the rim. Now she doesn't she doesn't stretch the floor like Salon, and she doesn't have the body that Salon has when you talk about ceilings and potential moving forward. But I guess my point is, if Salon can't start to grow her game and take better shots, Ami here is probably going to start to take those minutes, because Nikase, I don't think she's playing any games. Like we'll always question the rotation in some of these minutes, but they're trying to win. Be clear here. Like, this isn't a developmental year. When you look at the standings and you look where they're at, they cracked the Fever. They move on now to Las Vegas, the last stop of this road trip. And Asia Wilson hurt her wrist in New York the other day. It didn't look great. Right wrist. She is a lefty, but I would suspect she's going to miss some time. I haven't heard the results of the MRI. So you catch a break there and you get a chance to climb back above 500 here in this, 41 game season. Every game matters so much more. I don't got to tell you that, but they get back on the winning way here and a chance to string them together against a Fever team. To me, Caitlin, first game back. Okay. You want to shoot her some bail. To me, ultimately, if the Fever find themselves in the playoffs, Aaliyah Boston, is her inability to defend and she's just going to get pulled up in pick and rolls and handoff actions above the 3-point line, and it's going to break their defense down over and over again. Howard is not necessarily an intimidating rim protector, even at her size. I think that is the glaring weakness with this Fever team, is Aaliyah Boston's defense, and her being the anchor defensively. It's not good enough. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.